Have you ever thought about the secret code you're using every single time you talk? I'm not talking about the words themselves, but the music behind them. Today, we're going to uncover those hidden melodies that are in every single conversation.
So why don't we all sound like robots? That flat, mechanical voice. I am happy. When we say it, our voices have this music to them. That melody is exactly what we're diving into today. And honestly, getting a handle on it can make you a way better communicator.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll start with what that music in your voice actually is. Then, we'll look at rising versus falling tones, the incredible power of stressing certain words, how we speak our emotions, and finally, we'll check out some real-world examples.
All right, let's jump right in.
So what is this music we keep talking about? It's got a technical name, intonation. But all it really is the rise and fall of your voice when you speak. It's the melody of language, and trust me, if you get this melody wrong, you can cause some serious confusion. It's literally the difference between someone thinking you're being serious or totally sarcastic.
Okay, but how do we actually make that melody? Well, the main tool we use is something called pitch. And pitch is just how high or low your voice is. You can think of it like notes on a keyboard. We're constantly playing these notes, going up and down to create the song of our speech, and most of the time, we don't even know we're doing it.
So, as a rule of thumb, a higher pitch usually signals things like excitement or surprise, like, "No way you got the tickets?" See how my voice went up? But a lower pitch, that signals that you're done with a thought, maybe in a statement or a command, like, "Put the box over there." Hear that drop? That's pitch doing its thing.
So now that we get pitch, let's see how it creates the two most basic melodies that you're probably using in every single conversation you have.
Okay, so it pretty much comes down to two main patterns. You've got the falling tone, where your voice goes down at the end. That tells people, I'm done, this is a fact. Then there's the rising tone, where your voice goes up. And that signals, hey, I'm waiting for something, usually an answer to a question. Okay, check out this falling tone example. The school is over there. Hear how my voice drops right at the end? That signals that this is a statement. The thought's finished, I'm not asking you anything, I'm telling you.
But now, listen to the rising tone. Are you coming with us? My voice goes up, right? That little upward glide is a huge signal that I'm asking a question and I'm waiting for you to answer. It keeps the conversation going. Okay, moving on to another awesome tool that works hand in hand with intonation. It's called stress. And this is where things get really cool, because this is how you can use the exact same words to mean totally different things. Honestly, this is kind of a superpower.
So what is stress? It's basically just putting a spotlight on one specific word in a sentence. You make it a little louder, maybe a little longer, and you nudge the pitch up just a bit. It's your way of telling the listener, hey, pay attention to this word. This is the key piece of info right here.
All right, let's see how powerful this is. Listen carefully to this sentence. I did not take the money. When I stress the word I, what am I really saying? I'm not just saying I didn't do it, I'm pretty much saying someone else did.
Okay, now let's move that spotlight. What if I say I did not take the money? Whoa, the meaning just completely flipped, right? Maybe I found it, maybe I was given it, but the point is, my action wasn't taking.
And one last time, let's move the stress to the end. I did not take the money. So what does that mean? Well, it implies I took something. It just wasn't the money. Maybe I took the cookies. So look at that, same exact words, 3 totally different stories, all just by changing the stress.
All right, so intonation isn't just about facts and questions. It's also how we paint our words with emotion. This is the reason you can tell if your friend is genuinely happy for you or just, saying the right words. This emotional layer, sometimes it's way more powerful than the words themselves.
It's wild, but our feelings literally change the music of our voice. When you're excited, your pitch range gets super wide, but when you're bored or tired, it gets really narrow and flat. A sudden, sharp jump in pitch, that can mean anger. And that slow, exaggerated, drawn-out melody, well, that's pretty much the universal sound of sarcasm.
Let me show you. Take the phrase, "Wow, that's a really great idea." If I mean it, it'll sound something like this, with a lot of energy. "Wow, that's a really great idea." But what if I'm being sarcastic? I'd flatten it out and slow it down. "Wow, that's a really great idea." See? The words are identical, but the intonation gives away the real meaning.
Okay, so let's bring all this into the real world. Here are a couple of situations where knowing these rules can help you communicate clearly and maybe avoid some awkwardness.
You know those little phrases we stick on the end of sentences like, isn't it, or right? Those are called question tags, and how you say them changes everything. If I say, it's a nice day, isn't it? With my voice going up, I'm actually asking what you think. But if I say, it's a nice day, isn't it? With my voice going down, I'm not really asking, I'm just stating a fact and expecting you to agree with me.
And you'll notice this pattern all the time, especially with lists. When you list a few things, your voice goes up on each item to signal that more is coming. But on the final item, it drops. Like this. I need to get apples, oranges, and bananas. That final drop tells everyone, okay, that's the end of the list.
So, how do you get better at this? Well, the best way is to just listen and copy. Pay really close attention to speakers you like, maybe in movies or in YouTube. Try to mimic the patterns you hear. And here's a great tip. Record yourself talking and then listen back. It might feel a little weird at first, but it's an amazing way to actually hear what your own vocal melody sounds like.
So from now on, when you're talking to someone, try to listen for that hidden music. Listen beyond just the words they're saying. Because remember, your words only tell half the story. The real question you should be asking is, what does your melody say?